Combs, earlier today, Sean spoke to radio talk show host Neil Bortz about the big FairTax rally in Atlanta tonight and about his new book written with Congressman John Linder and just released in paperback.
And joining us now, nationally syndicated radio talk show host, #1 New York Times best-selling book, huge rally tonight, FairTax. Neil Bortz, tell our audience we could literally eliminate the IRS and the income tax.
Well, we can. We eliminate business taxes, personal income taxes, estate tax, capital gains taxes, Medicare tax, Social Security tax. All of these taxes show up eventually in the price of everything you buy. The embedded taxes in every car, every house, every can of soft drink that you buy, amounting to about 22%. So we get rid of all these taxes, we take the embedded tax out of everything we buy, we replace it with a retail sales tax on the final retail sale of all goods and services. It's revenue neutral, and we don't have to worry about April 15th anymore.
So in other words, if you make $50,000 a year, you don't make $33,000, you make $50,000.
No, you make $50,000. If you're under the FairTax, if you sign a contract at a $50,000 a year salary, well then each one of your 26 paychecks is 1/26 of $50,000. There's no withholding.
How is the IRS gone?
Well, the IRS is gone because there's no more withholding. They don't have anything to do. The IRS will stick around for a while to collect the past due tax that's owed at the time we implement the FairTax. Can't let those people off the hook. But then they're gone. I mean, there's no tax on your income. You pay tax when you consume. When you invest or save, you do not pay tax.
Right. Whatever you think about the level of growth of government, we have a certain level of things that we expect from the government.
Yes.
How is this revenue neutral?
The FairTax was designed, by the way, this is the first tax reform idea ever completely designed by the private sector, by economists at places like MIT and Harvard, by businessmen, not by politicians. This is not a good plan for politicians. It takes power away from them. But they looked at our economy, they looked at the consumption levels, they said, this is how much money the federal government takes in tax revenue right now. What would the fair tax rate have to be to match that?
And it is?
It would have to be just about equal to the embedded tax in our goods and services now. The embedded tax is about 22%, the fair tax would be 22 or 3%. So a $10,000 car would still cost about $10,000.
You always hear the words tax cuts for the rich. How would the fair tax help or hurt the middle class or poor people in America?
I think this is the beauty of the whole plan. People say, well, you have to exempt food, you have to exempt medicine. No, what you do is you take the Commerce Department poverty statistics for a family of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, whatever. You figure out what that family has to spend a year to buy the basic necessities of life. They're going to be paying the sales tax on that. That makes it highly regressive. So at the beginning of every month, you issue that family a credit or a check, however it works, equal to the fair tax, the sales tax they would be expected to spend that month. So if you're at the lower end of the income scale, barely making ends meet for your family, you will have no federal tax liability whatsoever, no Social Security tax, no withholding, no nothing.
All right, we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
We know how difficult it is to get change in Washington. What are the chances that we literally eliminate the income tax, eliminate the IRS? What are the chances that happens?
I think the chances are excellent if the people of this country learn about the Fair Tax Plan, either from the book, the Fair Tax book.
#1 bestseller.
#1 bestseller, or if you don't want to spend the money, fine, go to fairtax.org and the details are all there. This would be the biggest transfer of power from the political class to the people of this country in the history of our country.